And hello everyone, we are live again. This will be our sixth. Let me just check my mic because the last two, nobody's been able to hear me. We're good, we seem to be good. And so, welcome everyone. This is our sixth of 2 streams a day, every day for at least a month. And so far we have covered the basics of playing Minecraft. First of all, what is Minecraft? The basics of playing Minecraft. We did that twice. Then we did, what else did we do? Oh yeah, Minecraft features, allowed an NPC, camera, border, got it all written up here because I've got libraries and libraries of content for you. Thanks, Zekron. Long time no see, buddy. Thanks for coming in. Zekron and I were playing Call of Duty today together. We've also done mobs. Our last stream was on mobs, so looking at animals, monsters, how to set them up, what they can be used for, where we can use them in mathematics lessons or history lessons and things like that. And now we are going to do Minecraft Biomes. So I'm going to hop straight into that content and look at biomes. So biomes, much like actual biomes in real life, in the world, on the planet, are areas of Minecraft maps that are dedicated to a particular geographical style. So desert biomes, jungle biomes, ocean biomes. And as I go through the next month, I'm going to be talking to you about the importance of recognizing when you're thinking, designing lessons, because quite often we'll sketch lessons out way before we make them, and we'll write them up and we'll work with teachers and artists and coders and say, well, what does this look like? And over the last sort of 10, 11 years, we've hammered out the 3 ingredients that work for us, the 3 things, the 3 pillars that hold a lesson up and make those lessons relevant, meaningful, highly impactful, very engaging for students, measurable, and so on. And those 3 ingredients start with environment, the word environment. What environment do we want our children to play in? And that starts with biomes. So before I start going into biomes themselves in game, let's think about that. If we're going to do a lesson on plastics in the ocean, we're going to need a very particular environment. If we're going to do deforestation, we're going to need a very particular environment. If we're going to do cities, urban planning, or road safety, which we've also done in Minecraft, we're going to need a very particular environment. And so we have to think about what that looks like in Minecraft first. Now, let me take you into a new world setting and click on new. And let's just test this and say, we're just going to call this biomes test. I want to make it creative. Every time we're on, I'm going to do this. For those of you that are new, I just want to show you setting up a new world again. We're going to make it peaceful because right now we don't want any mobs, certainly monster mobs. Nobody's going to be joining me, so it doesn't really matter what that's set at. I want to make it infinite because we're talking about environment, so there's no point in having a flat world which has nothing in it. We want to talk about environment. Seed, this will come into it, but later. We'll talk about that later. But for the moment, we want to look at, I always have coordinates switched on. Let's make it always day, although that is important for the right environment. We'll switch code builder off. And then for classroom settings, we'll say allow mobs, perfect weather. That will do. Nothing else really matters there. Now, what you'll have noticed in any of those settings was there wasn't a biome setting. It didn't say, would you like to start in the ocean? Would you like to start in a forest? Would you like to start by a river? Nothing suggests that. And that's because every Minecraft world that you start from new will be randomly generated as new. Countless trillions of worlds. No 2 children will ever start in the same world. And so, unless we use seeds, which we'll come back to later. So I'm just going to click play and we're going to have a look at what our world looks like. I can see a bunch of people have joined me from all across Twitch and Mixer and YouTube. We've got some on Twitter and we've got some on Facebook. So if you're in and you want to just drop me a hi and let me know where you're from, it's always nice to know where we're coming from, particularly at this time when I think everybody now, I know the UK yesterday went into lockdown, and so we're all stuck in our homes, probably everywhere in the world. So if you're stuck in your home in Spain, say hi. If you're stuck in your home in Italy or South Africa or Argentina, say hi. We've already hit five continents with all of our streams so far, and 5 continents on any one stream as well, on our very first tube. So, having had a look inside here and started in this world, we can have a little look around. And there's actually a bunch of different biomes. This would be a mountain biome. And biomes in Minecraft, there are many of them. Many. There's deep ocean, warm ocean, deep warm ocean, mountains, taiga, T-A-I-G-A, taiga. Germany is in. Hi, Kirsten. Oh, hi, Kirsten. Hi. Thanks for coming in. And so over here we have, this would be plains. This would just be the standard plains with the forests and so on. Over here we have swamp biome, and you can see the difference in the colour of the water. The water's got a greenish kind of murky colour in it over there. This would be mountain biomes with the snow up here with the different trees on it. There's a village on the far end, and villages are different depending on the biomes. So you might see a village that looks like a plains village like that, but then you might see a mountain village or an ocean village, and the villages are all slightly different. I'm going to see if we can find Arctic. Let's just take a fly around and see if we can find jungle or Arctic. There's another swamp in the distance over there. Arctic's quite tricky. Hi Tassie, hi Norway. I know South Africa's back in. Thanks, Robert. Thursday evening, you're going to get locked down. Some crazy, crazy times, eh? Unprecedented, and really just... You know what's interesting to me? Is just how quickly our structures, our social structures, and our economic structures, and our political structures are deteriorating super quick. Capitalism, gone. People panic buying, shops closing down, other places trying to I mean, we had a satellite television company this week tell us that they were integral to the nation's survival of this virus. I'm like, what, because you provide television? Like, well, maybe. I mean, they're stuck in their homes, so maybe that makes you integral, but these ideas that we're important, I'm important, what I do is important, really, for miles. And ocean biomes there's different types of oceans. There's cold oceans and there's warm oceans with corals. In fact, I think if we dip down into here, into the water, yeah, there's no corals down here. It's just like the coast of Canada. Some gravel and some grass. I keep referring to that because I dived in Canada once off the coast of Nova Scotia. Super cold, wouldn't recommend it. But man, was it barren. And apparently the Canadians were able to tell me that it was trawling that had done it. Trawling had, decades of trawling had significantly damaged the water underneath and the seabed. It was incredible. So I'm not going to fly around for too much longer. I've not found Arctic and we haven't found desert. We got some beach, although beach isn't necessarily a biome. Here's another large swamp. Oh, what's that? I haven't seen one of these yet. I've never actually seen one of these, so this is exciting. I think this is a villager pillager thing. Hey, Split Diamond, thank you so much for the follow. If you aren't familiar with what we do already, we do Minecraft education. We teach people what Minecraft is and how to use it to teach everything from maths, science, geography, history, etc., through to gender equality and refugee crisis, social and emotional learning, you name it, we teach it. And so, I'm not going to float around too much, but you get the idea. These biomes that we're talking about mould into each other. What's this? It's a regular forest. I'm looking for a jungle forest. Don't think we're going to find one. But from forests to... And you see where they're blended there? You've got the mushrooms now. In there, there's another swamp over here. I wish and there's a lot of plains. That reminds me of the Never-Ending Story. Do you remember when Atreyu was running along beside the purple buffalo to the tune, which I'm not going to sing, but it's in my head. There's another village. And so you get the idea. Oh, there's taiga. So taiga is a slightly different, that's good. That's a new biome for us. So let's go over here and have a look at that. You'll notice that these trees, these oak trees, are different from these spruce trees. And the grass is slightly different. So there's a nice vibrant green grass here, but over a bit, and if I just get down, you can actually see where that splits. It splits around about here. And it's harder when you get closer, but there's a vibrant green there, and there's a more bluey green there. And so you end up with this slightly different grass, slightly different trees, and so on. So let's see if we can find how to make a biome the way we want it to. So let's just save and quit on this world. That was just our biome finder, and we've seen some of them. So the environment for your lessons are really important, as I said before. Biodiversity and forestry. Or deforestation. You're going to need a biome that has trees in it. If you're doing plastics in the ocean, or you're doing life on the ocean floor, you're going to need an ocean biome. And so one of the ways you can do that in Education Edition, and we're talking about Minecraft Education Edition specifically, is there. I'm going to click on this one, and you're going to see there that it's, if we click on New World, we can click on Templates. Alternatively, and I'm going to show you templates in a second, we could always go to View Library. Instead of View My Worlds, we could go to View Library. And down here, and we'll start with this, Biomes and Worlds. So if we click on Biomes and Worlds, we get an option to actually look for biomes. This is a phenomenal feature if you're looking for the right environment. And straight away, we can see a Badlands biome, looking at the Grand Canyon-esque kind of scenes, grass and red stones. The desert biome, there's a forest biome. We have an ice plains, jungle, mushroom island. There's an ocean biome, that's a handy one for the stuff we're doing. There's a river biome with some beautiful rivers in it. The Savanna, you want to do something in Africa? We've already been talking this week about the worlds that we build for Botswana and South African game reserve learning and conservation learning. Have a savanna biome. Plains, taiga, although there's no, for some reason there's no picture of that. And then warm ocean. So here's your warm ocean. Rather than just an ocean biome, we've got warm ocean down there, and then we also have the swamp. So let's just choose one of these. Let's go to warm ocean actually, because we looked at the ocean previously. And what we would do is click on warm ocean. It gives us a nice look at what that looks like. Up here, a little description, tells us what size it is, and we can click Create World. And what this is going to do, there we are, is this is going to give us, it's going to land us on this little island. What are these? Sea pickles. Let's go and have a look at what they are. Yeah, sea pickles. Sea pickles have a slight glow to them. But you'll also notice that we now have, instead of cod, and we'll go and look at a regular ocean in a second, but instead of cod and salmon, we have tropical fish. And I can spawn those myself. There's a little pink one, there's a blue and red one. I'm just spawning those. Oh, that's a nice one. And we also have corals. So if I just take these. Now, if any of you are wondering how I do that, if I'm using mouse and keyboard, and the middle mouse button, the wheel, which also acts as a button, if I look at something and I click that button, I pick it up and I get given it in my inventory. So I can start to just swim around and look at things and say, I want that. So I just looked at a fish, spawn tropical fish that gave me the egg, and then I could just start right clicking to spawn my own fish. And if I move around inside this ocean, I can start to find places that I might want to build. Now, one of the things I will point out about the corals are lovely, and if we press E for our inventory and we look for coral, you'll see that we get all of the different types of corals. So we can have fire, brain coral, bubble coral, and so on, all in different colours. And then we get the coral blocks, so tube coral block, or a brain coral block, or a bubble coral block. Try saying that 5 times fast. Bubble coral block, bubble coral block. And then you get dead ones. And this is the interesting thing about creating a lesson doing this. Dead tube coral rock or dead brain coral rock. And you'll see it here in the ocean. If I just go down, you'll see it there. It's the grey stuff. And it dies. A lot of it is selected to die, but it dies when it's surrounded by too many blocks, or it doesn't have access to water. And so what I do, one of the lessons we do when we're talking about the coral reefs, the Great Barrier Reef of Australia, is we build a model coral reef, and then what we do is we code using Code Builder, and I'm going to do this later this week as Code Builder. So I think, what day are we on just now? Tuesday. So Thursday is an introduction to Code Builder, and Thursday morning. In fact, I might do that twice on Thursday because it's such a big one. Introduction to Code Builder, and I'm just going to do time set 1, and then I'm just going to go into settings and ask for it to be always day. There we are. It's always day. Okay. Oh, there's dolphins. Let's go over here for some dolphins. Hey, hey, little dolphin. That's nice. And so, what we do with that is we do a if then. So if player swims, then coral dies every random piece of coral dies every X seconds. And so what you start to get are the children realizing that the more they pile into the water and the more they swim around and go, oh, look, corals, and they look for fish, just like tourism, the corals start to die in Minecraft. And the kids are like, oh, the corals are dying. So then they all come back out. But we also have a counter code that says, generate fresh coral, randomly and consistently generate fresh or regenerate coral every X seconds as well. So then they realise that the longer they stay out the water, the fresher and the more naturally growing the corals become. And then they jump back in and it dies a little. And they think, oh, right. So it's helping them to look at this guy, helping them to create this fantastic link between it's cause and effect, really. It's like if I go in the water as a tourist, there is an effect. There is a consequence to that. An environmental consequence. So that's one of the ways you can use that. We can also do things like dumping things in the water, and we actually have a world. Let me just go see what this looks like. Let me see my worlds, and I'm going to go and find our plastics and recycling world. It's in here somewhere, I promise. There we are. And so this world is about exactly that. This world was set up, it's for a French audience, so we set it up. It's all about recycling and reusing. And then what we did was we created plastics. So we created bottles, we created tins, tin cans, and we also created paper. And we have to help the kids to in this lesson to use this recycling factory to code a recycling system that takes the things from one place and puts them neatly in another and then uses them for a given purpose. And they have lorries to create deliveries and so on. These are the conveyor belts where they can sort stuff, etc. It's a remarkable little build, and it's been a huge success. I'm just going to knock my way out of there. But there isn't any water on this world. There's a surprise, because this was a contained unit. But what we can do is, if we were to just make ourselves a little ocean, we could bring this resource pack. This is a resource pack, so you'll notice when we go to settings, down here in the bottom corner, when we look at resource packs, it will tell you that this is the Immersive Classroom Coding RP, Microsoft France Immersive Classroom Coding. That's a resource pack. It's an active pack that sits on top of the game that says, you have plastic bottles because you made them, or you have an American bald eagle because you made it. And we can do that. We're going to do a whole stream on how to create those things. Yes, Lanny Watkins in with us again. So what I'm going to show you is we would take those, I can't remember which world we did it on, but we basically took an ocean biome, and I'm just going to chop the road out here. And then I'm going to make ourselves some water. Let's just imagine this was an ocean biome. Then we can just give ourselves some water. There we go. And then imagine the kids taking bottles and just throwing them into the water. Or tin cans. Or paper. And they're able to throw that in, and then you can see that they kind of bob to the top. And we can start to create lessons around, well, what happens if you just dump it in the water? And we can code it to say, if entity, plastic bottle detected in water, then create water pollution. And we're working with a variety of clients just now on exactly that, water pollution and plastics in the ocean, including Microsoft. So so it's just a really nice way of thinking beforehand. Before we even did any of that, we had to think, well, what would be the right environment? Let me just fix this world because it's not meant to have a hole in the road. So again, this whole stream is about think environment first. So we're just going to keep that as our mantra throughout this one. There we go, that'll do. And I can just save and exit this one. So that's what, let me show you an ocean biome just before we do that. So once again, we're not going to go into our worlds. We're going to go to View Library. We're going to go into Biomes and Worlds. Click on Biomes, and this time we're going to take an ocean biome. And it says there, this basic ocean biome, like its colder variants, its floor is made up of gravel, seagrass, kelp, and cod spawn here. That's it. So we're going to create that. It's going to automatically take us in. And you'll see that unlike the coral reef, it has squid. Hello, squid. You might get the odd salmon. There's a salmon and some sea kelp. That is it. So this might be a totally different one. Maybe you're doing something on shipwrecks. Let's take it away from environmental stuff and let's look at shipwrecks. Maybe you're doing something on shipwrecks and you want the kids to get underwater and build the Titanic or build one of the other great and tragic shipwrecks of our time. And they could start here and they could say, right, this is where my shipwreck's going to be, and then they would get themselves some planks, and then they would start building their ship that had sunk, for example. And then they could maybe start building a shipwreck. This is a very, very small ship, but in one of these streams I'm going to show you the ships that we do build, and they're huge. So there we go. So they could start building a kind of a ship there. In fact, I can't leave that. I'm just such a perfectionist that I can't leave it. I'm going to have to do that round about it so that at least it somewhat looks like a ship. Or a boat. It actually looks like a boat. There we go. That looks a bit better. So there's a shipwreck in there. It doesn't really matter. Now, incidentally, here's the thing about biomes. You do, in fact, there's dolphins in the cold water though, which is nice. You do actually get shipwrecks in, what's that over there? Let's look, this could be interesting. I saw something. Oh, there we are. That is a bit of a shipwreck. So that's already there for you. It's got some kelp growing in it, and you can get inside and you can see that we're inside a shipwreck. Let me just do time set 1, and then we'll make it always day. Settings, always day. There we go. So you'll see that we're inside a shipwreck, and there's a chest, and we can find a book and an unknown map and a treasure map. Oh, let's see what the treasure map looks like. X marks the spot. Let's go find this. Guys, I've never done this before. This is all about learning, and I have never ever found a treasure map, and I've never ever been to find some treasure. So let's find it. You can see, if I just look at the map there, you'll see in the very top right of the map, Stephen R, and it's the direction. If I turn, you'll see the direction I'm facing in, and I want to go that way. So let's see if we can find some treasure. This is fantastic. Why did I not know about this? So you'll see that the map now is, ooh, there we go. I'm probably way more excited about this than I ought to be. Oh, like, look at this. Okay. Boom, there we are. It says that there's treasure here. Oh, there's a cave. Let's get our map back up. Yep. Does that mean the treasure's down here? If it is, I'm so excited. Let's just get ourselves a torch so we can see what's going on. Maybe I'm doing this all wrong and there's somebody screaming at me saying, no. You don't look for the treasure like that. According to this, it's that way. So it's maybe down here. Or maybe I've just got to dig. I'm assuming it's in a cave, but maybe it's actually buried. Oh, it's behind me now. I'm just going to dig straight up because I'm in creative mode and I can. Yeah, that's back to the hole that I was in. Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to find it. Answers on a postcard. If anybody knows what you're supposed to do to find treasure, let me know. I'm counting on somebody here knowing that this happens. That was lovely though. Look at that for a great find. I just don't know if I'm supposed to find it around here somewhere. But it's a great adventure, right? That would be quite hard if you were in survival mode, I imagine. Because you'd have to swim all that way rather. I mean, at least I just flew it. Oh, it's through here. There it is. Yay! There's the treasure. Protected by skeletons, but I don't have mobs switched on. So I can get myself some wheat and some buckets and some iron ingots and some bread. And then in this one, I get myself some wheat, some buckets and some gunpowder. Yes. Thanks, Mr. Skeleton. We'll just get rid of you. Okay. So yeah, we found the treasure. We had a pirate adventure. Oh, look, there's snow. Now, actually, that's what we mentioned earlier. So you'll see that this is snow. So this is an Arctic biome. Let me show you what I mean by that. Save and quit. If I go into, I keep doing that. If I go into here and I look at biomes and worlds, I'm going to biomes. Let's just take a jungle biome for the moment. Jungle biomes are lovely. Forest fires, deforestation and sustainable foresting practices are what we do with that. So look at this. This is a really nice jungle biome. And in here you get different creatures, which I'll explain. We're going to go and do an exploration of creatures and things. You get temples. So there's like a jungle temple and so on. You get melons. Nice. And cocoa beans. There they are there. Look, there's a cocoa bean growing on the tree. So we'll take cocoa beans. And so on. And vines. And vines you can climb, incidentally. So vines are a really nice way of, they're like ladders. You can climb up them and get, oh, I'm not able to get any higher, but there we go. You can climb them. So we use them instead of ladders. Now, if I do / weather rain, so just press the / key and type weather space rain, you'll see that it's going to rain. If I do weather thunder, we get a thunderstorm. Look out, thunderstorms can set fire to trees with lightning. There we go. Oops, that was lightning. Sweet. Now, let's escape that. Because again, we're always thinking about environment. Do we need it to rain? Are we talking about... I'll give you an example of when this comes in handy. It turns out, I didn't know this, but during the Battle of the Alamo, it rained. And that's unusual for it to rain. And it rained during the Battle of the Alamo, and the cannons were so heavy that as soon as the ground went soft, they sunk slightly. And so they had to be readjusted to hit their targets because they'd sunk slightly. So a student taught me that. And he taught me it through Minecraft because he showed me a model of the Battle of Alamo. And while he was talking me through it, he put the rain on. And I said to him, why are you putting the rain on? He said, well, because it rained on the night. And people don't often report that. But it was talked about in accounts of the time. And he'd gone and found that out and done it himself. And so he made it rain on his demo. And if we go into... where are we going to go? I'm actually just going to go back and start a different world. So we're going to go into biomes, and this time we're going to take a desert biome. We'll just create that, a barren and inhospitable biome consisting mostly of sand dunes, dead bushes and cacti. You can find fossils underneath the sand, and only passive mobs. The only passive mobs to spawn are the traders. Now, let's do this. / weather space rain. And it doesn't. It says in the top left that it's changing to rainy weather, but it doesn't rain in the desert. So there's something for us. What if you were doing a unit on the desert and weather conditions? One of our, I've just seen that floating there. We're going to do materials and gravity in one of our other posts, one of our other streams. But what if you wanted to to do something on deserts and water and access to water, maybe access to clean water, and how many, we're doing a project just now and we have to talk about how far people walk to get access to clean water and then back again. What if that was the case? What if you had to do that? This would be a perfect place to do that, because they just can't make it rain. It's not like you could just make it rain and then get a rain catcher and make that, for example, a cauldron, for example. That's not possible. And so what you can do is you can use the desert as a biome to showcase those sorts of things. What if, however, we wanted to do something that was... No, I've done it again. I want to go into View Library, Biomes, Biomes, and this time I want to go into the Ice Plains biome and create world. This time, if I type, oops, weather, I keep doing that. My typing tonight is terrible. There we go. It doesn't rain, it snows. So depending on the biome that you're in, weather conditions change. So we did a Christmas coding piece recently, last year, where the students were encouraged to code Christmas. And they could code different effects of Christmas. So they had to make it snow to the song Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. And I know it's just called Let It Snow, but I couldn't resist. And so, and you'll also notice that the water has frozen. And so what we did was, we needed the right environment. I couldn't make it snow in the jungle. I couldn't make them have a jungle snow. And that is one of, while this is fantastic and you think, this is awesome, it can also be a weakness, because sometimes I want it to snow in a given area and it doesn't. It only rains, and you think, oh, but I needed it to snow in this particular area for this particular lesson. And so you have to just be careful about the biomes that you choose. But I choose, so I've made say I wanted Christmas in the jungle. We wanted to look at Christmas in the Amazon. You can't make it snow. Ooh, the rabbits are all white, look at that. Hey little guys. And then I realise when I do that, I sound like Bob Ross. I'm like the Bob Ross of Minecraft. Happy little bunnies. Friendly little tree. and so, yeah, snow. Oh, look at that. Now that's a different biome. Over here, I can't remember what this is called, but it's ice something. Look at all that ice pillars. And if you're feeling particularly stressed, just look up at the sky and watch the snow. Forget the world outside. Thank you, Tiger Stripe. I'm doing my best. I'm just trying to keep everybody entertained in this bizarre time. And so with biomes, it's really, really important that we think about our environment first. So let's just go back to our list. As an educator, it's always my job to think, what is it I need to do next with my lessons? So, you know, it could be that you're doing something on indigenous peoples of the Americas. And so you want a Badlands biome. You want to look at the people of that particular part of America. It could be that you're doing something on forests, like deforestation, or you're doing something like forest fires. Let me show you that. Let's get a forest biome and see what that looks like. You can't set sand on fire, but you can set trees on fire. Thank you so much, Tiger Stripe. A burger is exactly what I need right now. A hype burger. I like it. So I'm going to click on Create World. And where are we going from here? Now, here we are. And so one of the lessons I like to do with the students is forest fires. So we find ourselves a particularly dense piece of forest. This one over here will do nicely, look at this. And then we give ourselves a flint. And let's face it, we all know what's happening around the world. It's been happening in Australia this year to devastating effect to the people, the wildlife, the environment, everything. And so if we want to talk about these things in classrooms and we want to do lessons on them, why not allow children to explore in a safe way what that might look like? So I'm going to set a fire. I'm going to say, look, there you go. we're just going to see what happens if either someone sets a fire or... There we go. So the tree's now on fire. It's moving round. The bush is on fire. The tree's on fire. And all of a sudden, we end up with a forest fire. And that will burn until eventually it doesn't burn anymore because it has lost, it's run out of things to spread to, which is how forest fires work. And so what I then do is we start the same world, because I either take the seed of the world or I start again with the same biome. And then I say to the kids, what would we do differently this time? And some kids immediately go in and they build these gaps in the forest, these forest fire divides. And they're like, we should do that. It's amazing how many kids actually think of that. And then they say to me automatically, we should have these builds. And I say to them, have you seen those before? And they say no. And I say, that happens. You know that, our forestry commissions around the world. I know that in Scotland we have huge, we're walking through a forest and suddenly you come to what feels like a clearing, but it's a massive clearing going off to the east and the west, or the north and the south, or whatever. And it's just this huge fire divide. It's a fire protection, and the kids have already got it. They're like, that's what we should do, because then it won't spread. We can also do things like, say for example, we'll take this island, and I'm just going to speed up time settings, 2000 tick speed. That should make the fire spread really fast if it's there. Where's the fire? Has it gone out, or did I fly too far away from it? I think it went out. Let's start another one just to see what happens. There we go. Let's start a couple. Oh, it's been contained because those trees weren't too close to each other. Let's just, there we go. How devastating is that? Like, it's contained itself again. These ones are actually not bad. I tend to build more focused forests for this. But here we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go down and get rid of these trees. I turned the time up because you'll notice that trees only survive if they're attached to logs. So as soon as I get rid of the log, watch what happens. The log is fine up to here, but as soon as I do that, it disappears. So if I want to clear an area of forest, I just turn my tick speed up and then get rid of the logs, the trunks of the tree. So this is it. I think this is the last one. There we go. Now the reason I did that was because what I want to do is, this is on a very, very small scale, but we've done this with students on a much larger scale. If I now get saplings, and I'm going to go and get myself a spruce sapling. Oh, I already have them, look at that. And if I plant an exact number of trees, 1, 2, I think that's blocked from growing, so we're going to have to, there we are, 2, 3, ooh, that grew fast, 4, 5, grow, you want to. Whoops, there we are. Let's do 6. Oh, he fell down, look at that. Sometimes, every so often, you'll get a little odd one that's L. That's probably not going to grow there, or there, or that one. Come on, grow. It's not growing. You there, grow. Oh, look at that. Oh, there we go. It grew. Right, okay. And that's happening rather fast. Trees actually take about 10 to 15 minutes to grow if you don't. But imagine this was a model of an island where I put the children and it had a finite number of resources, just the right amount of coal, just the right amount of trees, and trees in this particular instance. So there we have 7 trees, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I knew that those trees contained in total 70 pieces of wood. And with those 70 pieces of wood, I know that children can make, because we can work all of this out, I know that children can make a house this size, X size, 10 by 10 by 7 or whatever. And off they go and make that, because they can craft it down into different materials. Once they've done that, they then come to me and they say, I'm out of trees. This island has no more trees on it. And I need more, because you've asked me to build a small hospital and I don't have any more wood to build with, a small care centre or something. And I say to them, well, what did you do with the saplings? You'll notice that if I just go into my inventory, I got 4 saplings by knocking down those trees. And kids are great at going, well, nothing. I put them in the sea, or I got rid of them because they were taking up room in my inventory. And I say to them, well, you're just going to have to go and Do that again, but this time I want you to think sustainably. Every time you get a sapling, plant it somewhere. So then what you end up is, I get them to split the island and they end up with crops. This half gets chopped down, replanted on this half. This half gets chopped down, replanted on that half. I'm talking about a bigger island, but we start to look at sustainable forestry as well. So forests can give us a wealth of things for us to be able to do with lessons, and that's just a couple of ideas there. Let's just save and exit that and see what other biomes we've got. Let's do this. Biomes and worlds, biomes, and then let's head down to... So let me show you what we did with a savanna biome. Because we've done warm ocean, swampland, we don't need to worry about rivers. We'll just give you a nice river if you're doing things like river pollution or tourism, or there's lots of things you could be doing with that. But if we go into a savanna biome, I'll show you what we did with our savanna biome. We did what was called We Are the Rangers. So if we take the We Are the Rangers world here, and we changed the animals, and we laid, our map makers laid a lot of savanna grass, or what looks like savanna grass around on this big savanna island, and then we changed the animals so we could have zebra. Hey little guys. Oh, I'm on him. I didn't mean to be on him. And then we have lions. Technically he is getting too close to those zebra for my liking. Ooh. And then we also have, what's this? Let me just plank this down. Oh, I'm not allowed because I'm in student mode. There we go. Oh, a weird looking elephant. That's a better looking one. Pink elephants on parade. And so we've got 2 elephants in there. We also have, there's an elephant. We have rhino. There's a baby rhino. Look at that wee guy. The rhino just have weird heads. We also have pangolin hiding. The pangolin are difficult to see. We have buffalo. And so what we did was we basically took the savanna and said, well, what do you do with that? How do we create lessons? And you can download these. These are free. We Are the Rangers is a set of 5 lessons that are free on the library. Let me just save and exit and show you where to get that. So you can go from there as well. You can go view library, and then you can go lessons. Let me see where that works out. Science, maths. Yeah, science. And then there's We Are the Rangers. And when you click on We Are the Rangers, you get 5 lessons unique to Minecraft worlds, span subject areas and age groups, and so on. And this one's just conservation science, but you would find the other ones, additional lessons, I think you would find them somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly where, but they're in there. Check them out. Go find them. They're in there somewhere. And there's all 5 of them. If not, give me a shout, and we can look at getting you those. So biomes are a really, really important way of deciding what it is that you want to do. So I'm going to end this stream by showing you some of the ways in which we've used particular biomes to get the effects that we wanted to. So I've already showed you We Are the Rangers in the Savanna style biome. What if we did something like our Pirate Cove map? I'm trying to think if that's the best one to show you. No, that's also... Actually, there was one I wanted to show you, was rivers. I want to show you a lesson in rivers. I just need to work out where it is. Not immersive mathematics, it's immersive education. There we are. This has actually got a bunch of biomes in it because we used a world that had a set of biomes in it. So for example, we did the Vikings up in the mountains, because we wanted the biome up here to be such that it would snow, and it would give our players the effect that they were in a Viking village up here in the snowy mountains with Yggdrasil. But at the same time, we also created a desert biome. We can create, just using a third-party software, we can actually designate biomes in a certain space. You wouldn't necessarily want to do that, but we were able to create a desert biome just for ancient Egypt. But at the same time, we also wanted a plains biome for World War I. So if I just head over to World War I here, you'll see that we have the ability for it to rain, because we wanted to show the kids This is just a big flat floating platform with World War One in the middle of it. There we are. The trenches and so on. And then what we were able to do was just do weather rain, and then when the kids are down inside the trenches, it's actually raining while they're at war, which was very common when stuck in the trenches. And then if we head over to, since it's raining, we'll head over to the rainforests, and I've switched the weather off, because over here we created a forest biome, a jungle biome, and you'll see here that we actually have a strip of all the trees has been cut away, and the reason for that is because we were looking at forestry and deforestation, and we have a logging company, and we get the children to set up a logging company, and then they run that logging company for profit, and then they have to look at the ethics of running that logging company. And we can do things like mathematics. So for example, just throwing in ideas here all the time, but if I get myself some white, one of the things we can do is we can say, right, let's just take this area here. There we are. And I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and in the corner. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, corner. Hang on, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, corner. And then all the way to the end. And then if we hover over that, we can see within that space, we can say to the kids, how many trees are in a 10 by 10 meter area. So let's just think about this for a second. I'll do a calculation in a second. I'm just going to take this all the way down so that we can see what that area looks like. And the kids can sort of build this and then destroy it later. It doesn't have to be a permanent structure. It's just a unit of measurement is all we're doing here. Is here we are. And then the final one on this side. So we've got our logging company. We're running it in this forest biome. The kids are loving it. It was so easy to set up. And then what we can do is we can go in and say, right, the number of trees inside this space, not including this one because it's part of the border, is 1, 2, 3. This was one tree, but technically there's enough for 4. So with 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not that one, 11. And then we can do that maybe 5 or 6 more times. So we'll build another one next to it, and another one, and another one, and another one. And then we take an average and say, look, in any given forest, there is an average, every 10 meters squared, there's an average of 17 trees. And we know we can cut down an area that size in 4 minutes. 17 trees, 4 minutes on average. How long will it take us to chop down this size? And then we get them to do the mathematics. So they don't have to physically do it. They do the maths based on meterage and averages. And then we can go online and look at what that would look like if we chopped down the size of London, a forest the size of London, Greater London. And the kids are like, man, that would only take us this much. And I say, right, because you know, in the Amazon, we chop down an area the size of London every day. And no! And then suddenly they realise that this is an issue. How many Londons are there in the Amazon, and how long will it take before we get rid of it? And so suddenly we got the children thinking about maths in the context of the real world. What happened? And they started off with their own logging company, and they loved it, and they were making profit because every time they chopped down a tree, I gave them a diamond, and they thought this was awesome. And then all of a sudden, it's real. All of a sudden, it's like, actually, we might be making money, but we're killing forests, and it's a real thing. What if there was? In fact, I think the forest breaks are over here. So here's our sustainability island. So you see there that this side of the island has been cropped, and this side of the island hasn't, and then they swap out. And when they have their materials, they head over to the city and they build what they want. And then over here, there it is. There's the forest breaks that the kids created. So they created these forest breaks so that when the fires came, they didn't spread. They would stop here and they wouldn't spread. They had to clear all the grass as well, which they haven't done fully. This was about eco-forestry. How can we live in harmony with forests? Why are we building with glass and steel and mining ores out of the ground when in fact we can build beautiful things with the trees themselves and in the tree areas, and we don't have to chop down massive swathes of forest so that we can have farmland? What if we lived in the trees? And this was just a fantasy idea, or maybe not. You know, Corona might put paid to all of the way we see our sort of social constructs and the way we live and think and do. But we're not building with these sustainable materials anymore. We're not even building in harmony with them. We strip them down, we take them where we want them to be, and then we use them for other things, and then we build on top of where they used to be. And you know another thing, I'm driving around Scotland and I'm noticing, well, I'm not now, but I was, and I'm noticing that every time we chop down an area of land and flatten it for houses, we name it after the wildlife that used to be there. Our streets are called Lapwing Drive and Rook Crescent and Pine Martin Grove. I'm just like, am I the only one that thinks that's really, really, really bad? We're going to strip away the habitat of these animals, but we're going to name our street signs after them. I just find that pure arrogance. It's just, it's one of those little things that annoys me, and I wonder if other people notice. Answers on a postcard if you notice. And so biomes are very, very, very important. It's really important that we think about our environment first. So any teachers watching, or even any students watching, thinking, I want to build a world that does this. You know, I'm studying Egypt now. I know it probably sounds straightforward. It's like, well, of course we would go look for a desert biome. You'd be amazed how many teachers email me to say, I'm doing this project, I don't know where to start. And I say to them, start with a biome. Literally start with the right biome. Go find one. You know, I'm in South Africa and I want to do something on conservation. Start with a savanna biome. I know it's not quite the same I get it, but it's close. It's the right environment for you. I've been on game reserves in South Africa. It's the right environment for you, and then you can change it by making hyena dens and whatever else. Speaking of hyena den, I mentioned those because I looked in one once and nobody told me I shouldn't be. And when I got back to the bus, I said to the driver, "What was that hole that I was looking in?" And he said it was a hyena den. And it's amazing I'm even still here. So I'm going to end that stream because this was a relatively short one just to explore environment. Start with biomes. Think about what you would like to do ahead of time. It's going to save you so much time. Forests, rivers, savannas, mountains. Think weather conditions. Play around. Do what I've done. Just go in and see what the jungle biome is. Go and see what the desert and the forest biomes are. And if you have any questions, ask me. We will do seeds tomorrow morning is seeds and looking at seeds for maps and map making. And then in the afternoon, we are doing an introduction to redstone, I believe. Yep, introduction to redstone tomorrow at this time. 2 more streams tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay indoors, do the right thing, and let's build this community remotely and as strongly as we can. Bye, everyone.